Hey, good morning. If you're new to my channel, this is all going to be pretty intimidating to you, I think. But if you've been around for the last year, you've heard me talk about Operation Black Sheep, a nonprofit that my good friend Robert Boyer formed to help veterans dealing with PTSD. One of the key things that Operation Black Sheep does is restore and maintain these old military boats. These are the boats that the guys died on in Vietnam. Powerful, powerful, powerful stuff. So some of you may be here because this is a sailing channel. It's more than a sailing channel, it's a channel about life and all the struggles that come with it, and the work, and then the beauty after that. So I know that a lot of you aren't yachties with lots of dough that can afford to buy and live this lavish lifestyle. You folks are going to have to learn how to wipe your own asses, so to speak. What do I mean by that? Things are going to break, and if you let them get a hold of you, you're going to really quickly run out of dough. And I don't want to see that happen. So if I can somehow empower you folks with some of the things that my dad taught me, and some of the things that a very good friend of mine, Dale Tenbrink, taught me, and some of the things that a very good friend of mine, James Wachter, taught me, right? These are the men that made me. I'm a made man because of my dad, Paul, my two adopted dads, Dale and James. The sum of these three men, plus a mix of different things that I've picked up along the way. But anyway, the whole point of this whole opening, right, is to explain to you guys why we're standing on this awesome military boat and not a sailboat. Boats are the best way for everyone to get access to all the beauty that is, the oceans, the Great Lakes, the streams, the rivers, that deep aquatic habitat where the magic really happens. And if you haven't been out there, you don't understand what I mean by the magic. It is magical on a multitude of reasons. The aquatic habitat, has an ability to recycle, reuse, recirculate, bury the bad, take advantage of the good, and produce oxygen, which we need, bury the CO2, and all the rest of it. And this aquatic habitat is dying. So I strongly feel the more people we get out there, the more people are going to realize and become aware why it needs to be protected. So today, we are on 6881 in our awesome new home. It's kind of fitting that this is a Vietnam-era World War II boat, and I'm pretty sure this building was built right around the same time. David Ramos lent us this facility to use so we can keep our heads out of the mud. It's pretty cool. The boat is real rough. We covered that in the last video. I want to show you guys some of the progress that I've been making. I've been focusing my efforts on the back here. So I got all the hatches taken off. I got the support brackets taken off, and that is empty and prepped for destruction. It's gonna be uglier before it gets better. That's just the way it works in the jungle. Okay, so I want you guys to see right in there. See that yellow? There's more of it down there and in there. Okay, so what is that? It is a previous repair. All of these are previous repairs. I've already started removing some of the glass there. This is why I really, really drive home. You've got to prep the surface properly. You got to prep it in 36 grit. You got to clean it with acetone. If you don't, it's going to delaminate. Especially being that this is the engine compartment. You can see the darkness coming through. That's oil. That is oil that got stuck underneath the glass, and obviously fiberglass doesn't stick to oil. It just doesn't. It's not going to happen ever. Ever, ever, ever. Being that those are engine stringers, it's really important that that stuff is strong. So I got to tear it all out. I've started removing some of it. Look, it's hot in here. I'm sweating. Woo! It's a dirty job. Anyway, I got to remove it all, lots and lots of grinding to remove all the bad stuff in the engine compartment, and put in new stringers and ribs. You can see here, I got the through hulls removed as well. I removed these grates. I promise you yesterday this was clean. I told you it's a dirty job. It's going to get so much dirtier before it's over too. It's going to be a disaster with the amount of grinding that I have to do in here. And everything is old and brass and it's been in salt. So every piece that comes out, every bolt that comes out, pert near has to be cut off because it's just bound together. I spent an hour recovering one of the bronze through hulls. It was a big, rare through hull, otherwise I wouldn't have wasted my time with it, but they're very, very, very expensive. So I got both of the big through hulls out. The standard size through hulls, though they're bronze or brass, I don't know. I'm not a metallurgist. I don't know the difference between the two. The gold metal, two of them, they didn't come out. I had to cut them. Gotta cut them, they gotta go. They're cheap though, we'll just get new ones. But you can see here, these big holes in the bottom, that's actually where the propulsion water comes in. And the holes on the back are where the propulsion water leaves to propel the boat forward. It is a mess, but I pretty much have everything removed now, prepped and ready to go. Last thing is the seacocks. That's where the engine coolant water comes into the system. I don't know, they're kind of fighting me right now. It was about 8 o'clock last night when I started on them. I gave them about a half an hour, and I gave up. I said that's gonna have to wait for another day. But while we're down here, I wanted to show you guys something that's crazy to me. And maybe you guys can leave something in the comments if you've been around this sort of stuff before. Let me see if I can get the angle right here. So this, see this ridge? All this damage in here. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen on a boat before. Big fat ridges. Look how much my finger is in there. It's just missing. All this should be all fiberglass. Delamination. I had a friend suggest that might have been where a grenade had gone off and they just did a quick patch to get her back out of the water. You know, I'm not sure, but it's all got to get ground back and removed, and I'm going to have to rebuild it. It's another three-dimensional repair. If you've watched some of my previous videos, you've seen where we have to start with, you know, if you have a repair, and I'm going to scale this up. Say you have a repair this thick, you know, but it goes down in a bowl shape. You have to start with smaller pieces and go bigger and bigger and bigger until it fits in there. And it's all in the prep work. Cut the pieces the right size, lay them in, and you know, it's better to have more than less because you can grind it out and make it flat again. But I think the biggest pain in the butt with this boat and the restoration of this boat is all the glass. See all this yellow mat here? I don't even know what that is. I've never seen it before. If you guys watching, maybe you know, maybe you were overseas and saw. I don't know what that product is. I swear to you, I've never seen it before. It's all delaminating. Everything you see that is this bright yellow is letting go because it wasn't prepped properly. That is no good. That is a structural support for the boat. You can see here where there's one that's got a big crack in it. So during the restoration of PBR 7331, the boat that we run right now, I had to replace a couple of these ribs. And the thing about this boat that is really cool to me is it's one of the first boats, well, one of a line of first boats that used foam core construction. We talk about core material a lot in here, and if you've been watching, again, you've seen me build a lot of things with foam core because it's superior. Closed cell foam is awesome, and epoxy over it is, I mean, awesome. We stopped a 45 round at 20 yards with it. I still have the bullet in my truck. So as you guys see me put this back together, all these ribs in here, 1, 2, 3, 5 of them total in the back. They run all the way forward. Every one of them were built with the same method, same kind of construction techniques, that open cell foam. Water has gotten into the open cell foam. That's why I don't use open cell foam. Froze, cracked, broke. I think they were underbuilt. They were done with 1 layer of 45 ounce glass. I'm gonna beef it up to 2, and then I think that'll be strong enough to last at least another 50 years, and by that time I'll be dead, so it won't matter anymore. So anyway, next week I'm going to remove the back half of this bulkhead, because as you can see in here, these ribs are tabbed into the bulkhead. So I got to replace the bulkhead first and then build my way back. And I'm going to end up having to redo all of this tabbing in here to strengthen up the chine. There's all kinds of crap that's got to come out. It's going to be days and days and days of grinding just getting the old material out of here and having the ability to rebuild. But it should be fun, and you know, I love building monsters, and well, this is definitely a monster. Oh, someday there's going to be a pair of 6V53s back in that engine compartment screaming. There's going to be a boatload of veterans on this boat, and it's going to be a real happy day. I did have a friend ask me if anybody died on this boat. This is a 1968. I found bullet holes, a bunch of them. This thing is like Swiss cheese. I can't tell you definitively whether or not somebody died on this boat, but I'm pretty sure a lot of men have bled on this boat. And that's why we have to preserve it. We got to preserve history. We got to be able to look back and go, hey, that didn't work so well. Let's not do that again. Or maybe this did work well, and we'll do that again, but we can do it a little better, right? So we'll use these construction techniques as a proven technique, but we're going to improve on it with technology, and we are going to make this boat better than it ever was before. All right, I'm going to go hide in the North Woods. See you guys.